Everyone. We are going to talk about some other part from the last time. Last time we have seen the definition of self-compassion as defined by Dr. Kristen Neff, and we also looked into three components of self-compassion, what they are. And today in today's session, we are going to do a guided meditation where we are going to practice these three components of self compassion. After practicing this meditation, you will really understand how to do this self compassion break. This meditation is called self compassion break. How to do it at it's actually informal practice. You can do it any time of the day and night, wherever you are having some difficulty, some stressful situation, anything that is means like little bit stressful. That time this self compassion break is very useful. And I will in short revise what are three components before we start the practice. And also we will do I will talk about that. So by definitions, means we have so far we have seen like mindfulness and compassion as the two wings of awareness. If we consider awareness as a bird having two wings, so one wing is of mindfulness and other wing is of compassion. And to develop our awareness, we need to have both these wings very strong. So today again we are going to see some part of a compassion meditation. Compassion is ability, means whenever you see any kind of difficulty, any kind of suffering, your heart, quivering of your heart, and to the ability to do something to alleviate that suffering is compassion. And compassion is same for ourselves or for others. Self compassion and compassion for others is same. Only thing, when compassion is directed inwards, it's called as self compassion, inner compassion or self compassion. When compassion is directed outwards, it's called as compassion for others. So we have seen last time the three components. As the informal definition of self compassion is treating our own self in the same way as we will treat to our best friend when he is in a trouble. When our best friend is in a trouble, we will treat them in a kind hearted manner. Same way, whenever we are in trouble, treating us in the same way as we will treat to a friend who is in trouble is called a self compassion. And as Dr. Kristen Neff has defined the three components of self compassion, where she has researched what are its benefits and how they can help us. They are like three components: self kindness, second is common humanity, and third is mindfulness. I will tell you again in brief. The first thing is, whenever there is some kind of failure or some kind of difficulty, something has gone wrong, tendency is to criticize or to have a harsh judgment, or it could be some laziness, or I could have done that, I could have done this. Judgmental thought. So that is a tendency. When anything is going wrong, when there is suffering, tendency is to criticize or to self judge. Instead of that, the first component is being kind and understanding towards this suffering. The suffering is happening, so being kind and understanding to ourselves instead of judging ourselves, and treating yourself with care rather than judgment. Because we care for ourselves and because there is a desire to alleviate suffering, we help ourselves with care and kindness. Second component is common humanity versus isolation. For example, when in the face of suffering, normally it feels like, if there's something has happened and I have failed in doing something, or if I have done mistake or something has gone wrong, I feel totally alone in that. I feel isolated. This tendency that at the onset of suffering, people feel very alone. It's why it's for me. So instead of that, understanding that making mistake is a part of life. Life is not perfect. Everyone at some point in their life experience suffering. The degree of suffering, the kind of suffering could be different, but suffering everyone experience. So understanding our failure or our pain on the background of common shared human experience is the second component, instead of isolating ourselves and feeling lonely. And third is mindfulness, means like mindfulness is very non-judgmental, means if there is a painful feeling, the tendency is to push them away. So instead of pushing them away, or instead of uh, ignoring them, mindfulness gives us this open receptive ability to be with the experience, and that gives an option of responding rather than reactive in an emotional manner. So uh, at the face of suffering, instead of overly identified with the situation, mindfulness gives us the ability to be with the emotions and the experience as they are occurring, and it gives us a chance to not either suppress or go away from the suffering. Because once we see the to have the compassionate response, first step is to actually see that there is a pain, there is a suffering, and mindfulness gives that ability. So these are three components of self compassion, and we are going to practice those three components, and you will get more idea about them. uh, Before that, it's also the research also shows that self compassion, means like soothing touch, self compassion can also be shown in the by touching. Touch is something which is very useful in soothing, in comforting, in means like in encouraging or to accepting. Touch is very important, so there is some practice called as soothing touch. So at any stage in a day or night, whenever there is difficulty, we can give ourselves this soothing touch that can help us to that physically help us to give to have compassionate self compassionate response. So we will also see the some of the soothing touch, what are some of the soothing touch, and which you can find out which one works best for them. I would also like to talk today about self compassion and self indulgence, because many people think like that if I become very much compassionate toward ourselves, then I would not achieve anything, or I will be uh, I would get carried away. So self that could they confuse self compassion to self indulgence, but self indulgence is very different than self compassion. And for when there is a failure and someone criticizes themselves for failure, then that criticism means like, as I said, the self compassion has three components. The very first component was self kindness as compared to self judgment. When something is going wrong and by someone judge themselves, someone criticize themselves, then motivation for change is that criticism or that judgment. So motivation for change or for growth is fear. Whereas in self compassion, when something is gone wrong, because we care for ourselves and because long term we have to have certain goals for ourselves, we do changes out of love. So the basis for self compassion is love, whereas the for basis for self criticism is fear. And I last time I talked about one example, means a kid coming to home with a very low math grade. Please math grade, and he's talking with his mother, and he has got very low math grade. So if mother interacts with him and says that you are really stupid, you really idiot, and you cannot do anything, and criticize himself, and then the child might work hard for a next time, and he might achieve the goal, but in a long term it's not going to helpful for him. It's going to be either depressive, or it's going to be a god not good enough uh, 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 deservedness or worthness for himself. Whereas if a mother talks to him like, uh, okay, you have failed right now, things happen, things go wrong in the life, so it's okay. But good grade is really important to get good in college and overall. So let us see what, how can we help, how we need to change our routine, what changes we need to make. So that encouraging response is going to help that kid in a long term to have a growth mindset, to actually have a good feeling about himself, and no matter what failure comes, he will try, even if in the absence of her mother, or absence of that will give the more ability to achieve his goal. So there is a lot of research has been done on the topic of self compassion. It is found that people who practice self compassion, they exercise more, they do good dieting, they care about their health. In relationship, it's helpful. So self compassion, people take responsibility for their failure, and they are less emotionally upset about the failure. For example, means if they the two groups are like they evaluated, one group who self criticize themselves, and one group who is like self compassionate to themselves. So failure is more accepted by people who are compassionate to themselves. The people who criticize themselves, they either ignore their failure, their shortcomings, or they blame others, whereas compassionate people, they take responsibility, and there are more chance that they will improve in a long term. So there this like there is lot of thing that can be said about self compassion. For example, self compassion people set goals related to personal learning and growth rather than trying to impress others. Means they, the motivation is basically because they really care for themselves, it's not for others, and it's for the long term. So first thing we will do today is to learn some of the soothing touch that give compassionate response in the on the onset of suffering. The classic gesture, or the classic touch for self compassion is simply putting your hand on your heart and feeling the soothing touch. And this gesture indicates that you are a human being like all other human beings, having feelings, thought, and you are present for yourself. You are supporting yourself. This is a classic gesture. For some people, it's not possible to do gesture in public or something. So there are some other postures that have been suggested. The another gesture is to make a fist of one hand and to put other hand on the top of the fist. The fist is an indication of strength, and other hand is an indication of kindness. So strength and kindness working together. The another could be the one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Again, giving support to yourself. You can try this gesture for yourself and see what works for them. In a self-compassion break, we will see how to practice the three component by themselves. But as an you need it anytime, even if you do this gesture, it starts the self-compassionate response, and it reminds us to think in a compassionate way. So you can try these postures and see which one works for. Your all cameras are off, so I'm not able to see anything, but uh, you can figure out which one works for you. I will tell you all the soothing touches. The another one is one hand on the cheek. Touch is something, we it's very important in our growth as the child is born. In the first few years, the touch plays very important role, the caring touch of parent. And even when at this age, at our age, a pat on the shoulder, or friend's touch, that really feels nice. Even in Indian culture, when we bow down, our parents put hand on our head, that touch is also very blissful. And so touch has really nice effect on overall on body as well as on mind. So that's why we are trying this soothing touch. Another is cradling one's face in the hand like this. You can simply do this posture and feel, how it feels when you do this position. Another is when in your public, gently stroking one's arm. I am there for you here because there is a moment of suffering. Things go wrong sometimes, and I am here to help. This message the soothing touch gives. The another is crossing one's arm and giving a gentle squeeze. If you are alone, you can do like this, giving yourself a gentle squeeze. And research has shown that this self-touch, self-soothing touch are same physiologically, same benefited as touch from others. So the next one is capping the hands in one's lap, just capping the hands on the laps and keeping like some touch, some intention that there is a suffering, we see that, and we are there, we are caring for it and saying that I am not alone in that. This is a human experience and we will come out of it, we will do, but first thing is not to fix it, first thing is to see what is happening. So these are these soothing gesture. I hope you find one of the soothing touch that is helping you, and that might help you anytime when you would like to practice self compassion. um, so we will do a meditation for 15 to 20 minutes. We will start with a classic breathing meditation, and at the end I will guide you through self compassion break, where I will guide you through all these three components that we have talked. And I hope by that practice you will be clear about how to practice self compassion at any moment of the day when you need it. It need not have to be meditation. You can practice it anytime when someone is criticizing you or you are having self criticizing thought. That time you can practice this self compassion. So if it is okay, we can go ahead, sit comfortably. You may close your eyes. Please sit in a posture that is a balance between being alert and being relaxed. We say that we sit in a dignified posture where we are straight but not stiff. We are relaxed but we are not so lumped over that we'll fall asleep. There is some balance. Balance being alert and being relaxed. And know your posture. You are sitting, sleeping, whatever. Know your posture. We say sit and know that we are sitting. Feel your posture. Feel your legs touching the ground. Feel your hands resting on your lap. Feel different sounds that come to your ears. It could be my sound or sound of a clock or any other sound. Some sound we like, some we don't like, some we feel neutral about. It's okay, we just note whatever come to our ear. You can also be aware of different sensations that are presenting themselves inside your body. Some would be pleasant sensations. Some would be unpleasant sensations. And some would be neutral sensations. We simply note them, be with them, and once they are no longer there, we let them go. As you are being aware of different sensation, you also get aware that your body is breathing, your body's breathing sensation. This sensation could be dominant either at the tip of the nostril, at the chest area, or at the belly area. Feel the area wherever the breath you feel the strongest, the normal natural breath. No one area is better than other. Wherever it is strongest, you can just rest your attention there. Just one breath at a time. If any thoughts, any images, any planning comes to your mind, but they are not strong enough to distract your attention, then you just note them and you are putting your attention on the sensation of your body breathing. Just this one. You can simply note that breathing in, breathing out. And anytime your mind gets lost, get distracted, you feel sleepy, the moment you realize that you have been distracted, you have been gone, simply note that that is the best point to be kinder to yourself. Let go of that distraction and gently begin again. Begin again means bring back your attention on the sensation of your body breathing. It doesn't matter how many times mind get distracted, where it get distracted. The moment you realize, that is the important point in our practice. We get delighted at noting the distraction and very gently we come back to our body breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. We gently begin again. Gently is a very important word here. If you lose the sensation of breathing, whenever you realize it, remember that nothing is being lost. And kindly begin again. We gather our whole attention and put it behind the sensation of a single breath at a time, breathing in breathing out. Any sound, any other sensation, any thought, any image comes to your mind, we simply note them, we let them go, and we begin again. This meditation on breathing is very classic meditation practice which helps us to calm, to concentrate, to have resilience, to begin again, to be present to whatever is happening without non-judgmentally, without clinging to either pleasant, non-pleasant or neutral things. So as we go through our day, we also try to bring this quality to all our daily activities. Whatever we practice here in meditation can be applied throughout our day. And next we'll move to the self-compassion break practice. Let go your attention from your breath. And this is a reflective practice. Any time that you feel need of, you can come back to this sensation of breathing. So to start the self-compassion break practice, think of a situation in your life that is stressful, little bit difficult, causing you stress right now, such as maybe some health problem or a problem in an important relationship or a work problem or someone like your friend having some trouble. Please choose a problem in the mild to moderate range. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves as we are learning this scale of self-compassion. On the scale of 1 to 10, it could be 4 or 5 difficulty level. Allow yourself to really see or feel your way into the problem. What is the situation? Who are all involved? And you can feel this problem in terms of any physical sensation in your body. Is there any unpleasant or uneasy sensation in your body that you note? It could be very slightly, but can you feel any physical sensation as you think of this stressful situation? Where do you feel it the most? And you can make a contact with the discomfort that you feel in your body. You can simply keep your hand, it could be at the throat or hand or chest or stomach, at any area of your body where you feel the feelings. And then you can say the first component of self-compassion. You can say that this is a moment of suffering. That's mindfulness. The other way to say this is, this hurts. This does not feel good. Ouch. It is hard. This is a moment of suffering or pain. The next, we can say the second component to ourselves. You can very slowly and clearly say that suffering is a part of living. In another words, it can be said as others would feel just like me, or I am not alone, or me too. It's a common humanity, sharing our experience on the background of shared human experience. We are not alone feeling this kind of pain. Can again remind of the situation if it is started slipping off your mind. Seeing the image of people involved, words said. And we can invoke the third component of self-compassion. Before that, we can put hand over our heart or wherever it feels supportive, feeling the warmth of your hands. You can say to yourself, may I be kind to myself, or may I give myself what I need. That's self-kindness. You can come up with the words or language that is right for you. It could be, may I accept myself just as I am. Or may I care for myself kindly in this moment. If you need a fierce kind of self-compassion, the words could be, no, I will not allow myself to be harmed in this way. Or, may I have the courage and strength to make a change. You can find a language that is suitable for you. To find the right words, imagine that a dear friend or loved one is having the same problem as you. What would you say to this person, heart to heart, without giving any advice? If your friend to hold just a few of your words in his mind, in her mind, what would you like them to be? What message would you like to deliver? It could be, may you accept yourself, or can you offer the same message to yourself? It could be, may I be strong, may I be patient. May I be kind to myself. May I give myself what I need the most. And you can let go this reflective practice. Come back to your body, sitting, your body breathing. And once ready, you can bring some gentle movement into your body and you may open your eyes. Thank you.